The grand assembly hall stretched for nearly a kilometer, its crystalline walls reflecting the light of 1,000 stars. Representatives from 47 different civilizations filled the massive space, their various forms creating a tapestry of galactic diversity. Some breathed oxygen, others methane. Some stood on legs, others floated on anti-gravity platforms. But they all shared one thing: confusion. Ambassador Thelgzar stepped onto the central platform, his forearms gesturing to the holographic display above him. The image showed a small blue planet orbiting a yellow star, Earth. The gathered representatives leaned forward in their seats, anticipating good news. First contact with a new species was always cause for celebration. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Thelgzar began, his voice translated into dozens of languages simultaneously. The species known as humans have achieved faster-than-light travel. As per protocol, we dispatched our diplomatic fleet to welcome them into the galactic community. A wave of polite applause rippled through the chamber. This was standard procedure. Every civilization followed the same pattern. They developed FTL technology, the Council made contact, negotiations began, and within 5 to 10 years the new species joined the Council. It had happened 47 times before. This should be the 48th. However, Thelgzar continued, his voice uncertain, the humans have refused all contact. The applause died. Silence filled the enormous hall. Several representatives exchanged confused glances. One delegate from the Vissian collective stood up, her scales shimmering under the lights. Refused? What do you mean, refused? Did they not understand the translation? Thelgzar manipulated the holographic controls. A recording began to play. The Council watched as 3 massive diplomatic vessels approached a human colony world. The planet looked young, barely terraformed, with small cities dotting its surface. The Council's ships broadcasted friendship messages in 200 different languages, using every known form of communication. The human response was brief. A female voice, calm and professional, spoke in clear galactic standard language. We acknowledge your presence. Maintain current distance. Do not approach our worlds, the recording continued. Supreme Mediator Kreloth, the Council's most experienced diplomat, tried everything. He offered trade agreements, technology sharing, cultural exchanges, and protection under galactic law. For 3 weeks his ship remained at a respectful distance, sending message after message. Each time the humans responded identically. They acknowledged the transmission. They politely refused. They provided no explanation. On the surface of New Busan, Commander Hyun watched the alien ships through the observation window of her command center. She was a stern woman in her 50s, with gray hair pulled back tightly and eyes that missed nothing. Around her, dozens of officers monitored various screens tracking every movement the alien vessels made. They're broadcasting again, Captain Dai reported from his station. He was young, barely 30, but his tactical skills were exceptional. Same message as before, offering friendship and cooperation. Response? Commander Hyun asked. Standard protocol, sir. Acknowledge and refuse. Commander Hyun nodded. In another room, Dr. Nari analyzed the alien transmissions, studying their language patterns and technology signatures. She wanted to learn more, to understand these creatures that claimed to come in peace, but she understood the reasoning behind their orders. Commander, Dr. Nari's voice came through the communication system. These aliens seem genuine. Their messages contain no threats, no demands. Perhaps we should consider— Our orders are clear, Doctor, Commander Hyun interrupted. Humanity speaks with one voice on this matter. We maintain distance until we're ready. Back on Viridian Prime, the Council chamber buzzed with debate. Supreme Mediator Kreloth stood before them, his aged features showing frustration. I have successfully negotiated first contact with 12 species, he said. I have never encountered anything like this. The humans are not afraid. They're not confused. They simply do not wish to engage with us. Perhaps they need more time, suggested a delegate from the Empathic Concordat. Some species require adjustment periods. It has been 3 weeks, Kreloth replied. And there is something else. He activated another holographic display. Our scans of their colony detected military installations far beyond what a newly FTL-capable species should possess. Their defense platforms, their ship designs, their energy signatures, all of it suggests technology decades ahead of where they should be. This caused more murmuring among the delegates. The Council had strict developmental timelines. Species followed predictable patterns of technological growth. Humans were not following those patterns. They must have found ancient technology, one delegate suggested. Perhaps ruins from a precursor civilization. We detected no such findings in their system, Kreloth answered. A representative from the Ragthul Dominion stood, his massive form towering over the others. The Ragthul were a warrior species, though they had embraced peace centuries ago. Perhaps they are hostile. Perhaps this refusal is preparation for aggression. They have shown no hostile intent, Kreloth said quickly. They merely wish to be left alone. That in itself is suspicious, the Ragthul continued. No species refuses contact with the galactic community. It is unnatural. Kreloth decided to try one more approach. His ship moved closer to the human colony, still maintaining what the Council considered a respectful distance of 10 million kilometers. He broadcast a personal message speaking from his heart about the wonders of galactic civilization, the friendships that awaited humanity, the knowledge they could share. On New Busan, alarms blared throughout the command center. Captain Day's hands flew across his console. Sir, the diplomatic vessel is approaching. 9 million kilometers and closing. Commander Hyun's eyes narrowed. Activate defense platforms. Send the warning. The transmission was brief and cold. You are approaching human territory without permission. Reverse course immediately. Kreloth received the message and felt a chill run through him. His sensors detected dozens of weapons platforms powering up around the colony. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy his ship. He had not even seen them until they activated. Reverse course, he ordered his pilot. Maximum speed. As his ship retreated, Kreloth stared at the view screen showing the human colony shrinking in the distance. For the first time in his long career, he felt something he had never experienced during first contact. Fear. He returned to Viridian Prime and stood before the Council once more. The assembled delegates waited for his report, hoping for better news. Kreloth looked at each of them, his expression grave. They possess military technology decades beyond what their development level should allow, he said slowly. They detected our hidden weapons scans. They knew the exact moment we crossed their boundary, even though we were millions of kilometers away. They are not primitive. They are not afraid. They simply do not want to talk to us. The council chamber fell into troubled silence. In the corner, Ambassador Thelzar made notes on his datapad. This was unprecedented. This was concerning. This was just the beginning. On Earth, in a secure facility deep beneath Geneva, President Yoon reviewed the reports from New Busan. Around the table sat General Yu, Admiral Bo, and other members of the Committee for Extraterrestrial Affairs. They had debated this moment for years, ever since humanity first detected alien signals from deep space. They will try again, General Yu said. They always do. Let them try, President Yoon replied calmly. We have waited centuries to reach the stars. We can wait a few more years before joining their club. We will engage with them when we are ready, when we are equals. Not before. The others nodded in agreement. Humanity had learned hard lessons from its own history. When civilizations of unequal power met, the weaker one rarely survived with its independence intact. They would not make that mistake with aliens. The meeting adjourned, and across human space the expansion continued. More ships launched. More colonies established. More defense platforms constructed. And the Galactic Council watched, confused and increasingly worried about the species that refused to join them. 6 months had passed since the first contact attempt, and the Galactic Council remained baffled. In the Grand Assembly Hall, debates continued almost daily about what to do with humanity. Some delegates argued for patience, others for pressure, and a few for more aggressive measures. Meanwhile, humanity expanded at a rate that shocked the Council's analysts. New colonies appeared every few weeks. 14 human worlds now dotted 6 different star systems. Each colony followed the same pattern: rapid terraforming, quick population growth, and immediate military fortification. The humans worked with an efficiency the galaxy had never witnessed before. Ambassador Thelzar presented his weekly report to an increasingly anxious council. Every time our ships approach human territory, we receive the same response. Acknowledgement of our presence, firm refusal of contact, and defensive posturing. They have not deviated from this pattern once. This is economically disastrous, complained a representative from the Trade Confederacy. That region of space contains valuable resources. The humans claim 6 systems that we had planned to develop. If they refuse to join us, they refuse to follow galactic resource agreements. The Ragthul Dominion representative slammed his fist on his desk. They are not simply refusing diplomacy. They are expanding their territory. Each week brings new human settlements. How long before they control 20 systems? 50? At what point does their expansion become a threat to established council space? Supreme Mediator Kreloth raised his hands for calm. The humans have not entered any system claimed by council members. They are settling uninhabited regions. Technically, they are breaking no galactic laws. Only because they refuse to acknowledge galactic law exists, another delegate shouted. On Earth, Admiral Bo reviewed the strategic situation from Fleet Command in Singapore. He was a grizzled veteran with more scars than medals, though he had plenty of both. The holographic display before him showed human space in blue, council space in green, and the vast unclaimed regions in gray. They're getting nervous, he said to Director Hana, who stood beside him. She ran the Colonial Administration Bureau and oversaw humanity's expansion efforts. Good, Director Hana replied. She was pragmatic and efficient, qualities that made her perfect for organizing the colonization of new worlds. Nervous but not aggressive. That's the balance we need to maintain. How many more colonies this quarter? Admiral Bo asked. 8 planned, 12 possible if Engineer Tay's new drive systems perform as expected. Admiral Bo shook his head in admiration. That kid is a genius. His engine designs cut travel time by 40%. At this rate, we'll have 50 systems within 5 years. That's the plan, Director Hana confirmed. The more territory we control, the harder we are to intimidate. By the time we're ready to negotiate with the Council, we'll be too big to push around. Not everyone in human space agreed with the isolation policy. On the colony world of Nova Sol, protests erupted calling for dialogue with the aliens. Professor Isel, a respected historian, gave speeches advocating for cautious engagement. Our history shows us the dangers of contact between unequal civilizations, she told a gathered crowd, but it also shows us the dangers of isolation. We cannot hide forever. Eventually we must find a way to coexist with the galaxy. Her words resonated with some, but the government's position remained firm. Commander Hyun, now promoted to Sector Defense Chief, issued a statement making the policy clear. We do not hide. We prepare. There is a difference. When humanity is strong enough, dialogue will occur. Until then, we maintain our boundaries. The situation took a dangerous turn when the Council science vessel, Luminous Inquiry, entered a human-claimed system. The ship's mission was purely scientific. They wanted to study a rare stellar phenomenon in the system's outer regions. The captain, a Visian scientist named Trelvar, assured his crew they would not approach any human planets. We are 15 billion kilometers from their nearest colony, Trelvar explained to his nervous crew. We will be in and out within a week. The humans cannot object to scientific research in unclaimed space. He was wrong. Within hours of entering the system, 3 human warships appeared around the Luminous Inquiry. They materialized from faster-than-light travel with perfect precision, surrounding the Council vessel in a triangular formation. Captain Day commanded the lead human ship, and his message was brief. Council vessel, you have entered human space without permission. State your intentions. Trelvar quickly transmitted their scientific mission details, explaining about the stellar phenomenon and assuring the humans they meant no harm. We are simply scientists. We have no weapons. We seek only knowledge. The response came from Commander Hyun herself, transmitted from the nearest human station. Her face appeared on Trelvar's screen and her expression was ice cold. You entered our space without permission. We do not care about your intentions. Leave. Now. But we need just 3 more days to complete our observations, Trelvar pleaded. This phenomenon occurs only once every century. Please, we mean no threat to your people. You have 1 hour to leave this system, Commander Hyun replied. If you remain, we will consider it an act of hostility. Trelvar looked at his crew. They were scientists, not diplomats or warriors. He wanted to stand his ground, to assert the Council's right to explore space freely. But the human warships surrounding them carried enough weapons to vaporize his vessel in seconds. Very well, he said quietly. We are leaving. The Luminous Inquiry began to turn away, but Trelvar could not resist attempting to complete just 1 more scan. He ordered his crew to take measurements as they departed. It was a mistake. Warning shots blazed across space, passing within meters of the luminous Inquiry's hull. The Council ship's shields flared from the near misses. Alarms screamed throughout the vessel. "Go! Full speed!" Trelvar shouted, and his ship fled the system. When news of the incident reached Viridian Prime, the Council erupted in outrage. For the first time in recorded galactic history, someone had fired on a Council vessel. Not just fired, threatened, humiliated, forced to flee. "This cannot stand," the Ragthul representative thundered. "They fired on unarmed scientists. This is an act of war." "They fired warning shots," Kreloth pointed out. "If they wanted to destroy the ship, they could have done so easily." "That makes it worse," another delegate shouted. "They are toying with us. They show us they have the power to destroy Council ships, but choose not to. This is intimidation." Ambassador Thelgzar tried to calm the situation. "We must consider that from their perspective, we violated their space. Perhaps if we had requested permission first." "Request permission?" the Ragthul delegate interrupted. "From them? We are the Galactic Council. We do not ask permission from species who refuse to even speak with us." The debate raged for hours. Finally, the Ragthul Dominion made a formal proposal. Send a battle fleet to human space. Not to attack, but to demonstrate Council strength. To show humanity that their isolation could not continue. The proposal was controversial, but fear and frustration drove many delegates to support it. Before the Council could vote, their intelligence division reported something alarming. Human colonies in the Argent sector had constructed massive defense stations seemingly overnight. The stations were equipped with weapons platforms that matched or exceeded anything the Council possessed. "How did they build these so quickly?" a delegate demanded. The intelligence officer displayed construction footage captured by Council monitoring satellites. They used prefabricated components assembled in space. "The construction method is revolutionary. What would take us months they accomplish in days." "And the weapons technology?" another delegate asked. "Advanced, possibly more advanced than our own in some respects." The chamber fell silent. The proposal for a battle fleet suddenly seemed less appealing. If humans could build such defenses so quickly, what would they do if directly threatened? Kreloth stood slowly, his old bones aching. "We face a species unlike any we have encountered. They are not primitive, they are not inferior, they are not hostile, but they will defend themselves ruthlessly. We must accept a difficult truth. Humanity does not need us, and until we understand why they fear us, we cannot reach them." As the Council debated, human intelligence detected something that confirmed their worst fears about engaging too soon with aliens. Scout ships reported massive construction in the Sol system, humanity's home system. Orbital facilities on a scale unseen for millennia were taking shape around Earth. General Yu reviewed the reports with satisfaction. "Project Fortress is ahead of schedule. Once complete, Sol will be the most defended system in known space." "What are they building?" Director Hana asked. "Insurance," General Yu replied. "The Council is getting nervous. Eventually they may try force. When they do, we need to make sure they regret it." On Viridian Prime, Ambassador Thelgzar sat alone in his quarters, reviewing everything humanity had said and done. The pattern was clear to him now. Humanity was not being difficult. They were being cautious. Somewhere in their history, they had learned to fear first contact with more powerful civilizations. He began writing a report, though he doubted the Council would listen. They were too frightened now, too proud. The humans had wounded Council prestige, and pride was a dangerous thing when dealing with fear. 1 year had passed since humanity reached the stars, and the Galactic Council remained locked in an unprecedented crisis. The Grand Assembly Hall hosted daily emergency sessions. A special committee had formed, dedicated entirely to solving what they now called the human problem. Dozens of experts studied every aspect of human civilization, searching for answers. In a secure chamber beneath the main assembly, the Council's best xenopsychologists gathered around a holographic display showing human cultural data. They had analyzed thousands of hours of human entertainment, historical records, and public communications that humanity left unencrypted. What they found disturbed them deeply. Virith of the Empathic Concordat stood before her colleagues. She was one of the galaxy's foremost experts on species psychology, capable of understanding alien motivations that others missed. Her face, which could shift colors to reflect emotions, showed deep concern. I believe I understand why humans refuse contact, she said quietly. The room fell silent. Everyone leaned forward to hear her theory. Human history is unlike anything we have seen, Virith continued. She activated the holographic display, showing images of human civilizations throughout their history. Every other species we have encountered developed with relatively unified global cultures. But humans spent thousands of years divided into competitive nation-states. They fought constant wars. They conquered each other repeatedly. Many species have violent histories, another psychologist interrupted. That alone does not explain their behavior. No, but this does, Virith said, changing the display. Now it showed historical records of human colonization on Earth itself, European ships arriving in the Americas, African kingdoms encountering technologically advanced outsiders, Pacific Islands being absorbed by larger powers. Every single time in human history when a less advanced civilization encountered a more advanced one, the result was the same. The less advanced civilization lost its independence, sometimes through conquest, sometimes through economic domination, sometimes through cultural absorption, but the pattern was consistent. The weaker civilization never survived intact. The room remained silent as her words sank in. They are not ignoring us, Virith said softly. They are protecting themselves from us. They have studied their own history, and they know what happens when unequal civilizations meet. They are terrified that we will do to them what they did to each other. On Earth, President Yoon sat in her office in Geneva, reviewing the same historical records that Virith was presenting to the council. Beside her, Professor Isul had compiled a detailed analysis of every first contact scenario in human history. The Aztecs met the Spanish, Professor Isul said. Advanced civilization, rich culture, millions of people. Within 50 years, they were gone. Not destroyed by weapons alone, but by disease, cultural domination, and economic control. The Native Americans, the Aboriginal Australians, the indigenous peoples of Africa. President Yoon continued the list. Every time the same result. Sometimes the advanced civilization meant well. Sometimes they promised friendship and equality. It did not matter. The outcome was always the same. General Yu stood by the window looking out over the city. The council promises us protection, technology sharing, equal membership, but we would be joining as the weakest member. How long before their protection becomes control? How long before their technology sharing becomes dependency? How long before equal membership becomes subordination? We are not saying the aliens are evil, President Yoon clarified. We are saying the situation itself is dangerous. Good intentions do not change the fundamental imbalance of power. The council decided to make one final attempt. They crafted an unprecedented offer, something they had never done before. Full guaranteed sovereignty, protected borders recognized by galactic law, technology sharing with no strings attached, council membership with complete veto power, every protection, every guarantee, everything they could think of to address human concerns. The offer was transmitted simultaneously to every human world. For 3 days, humanity deliberated. Then President Yoon herself recorded a message. It was broadcast across the entire galaxy, ensuring everyone heard humanity's response. President Yoon appeared on screens throughout council space. She sat calmly, hands folded on her desk, speaking in clear, measured tones. We thank the Galactic Council for their generous offer. We acknowledge your peaceful intentions and your efforts to address our concerns. However, Earth's history has taught us that contact between civilizations of unequal power rarely ends well for the weaker party. She paused, letting her words be translated into dozens of languages. We are not accusing you of hostile intent. We do not believe you wish us harm. But intentions and outcomes are different things. No matter how sincere your promises, the fundamental imbalance of power between our civilizations creates an inherently unstable situation. Until humanity can meet you as equals, not as supplicants, not as junior partners but as genuine equals, we choose isolation. This is not hostility. This is self-preservation. We ask that you respect our decision. We will initiate contact when we are ready. Thank you. The message ended. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Arrogance, shouted one delegate. They insult us by implying we cannot be trusted. They are frightened children hiding in the dark, another added. We should drag them into the light for their own good. But Ambassador Thelgzar sat quietly, feeling a deep shame. Virith's analysis had been correct. Humanity had learned from history that advanced civilizations, no matter how well-meaning, posed existential threats to less developed ones. And the Council's response to this fear had been to become offended, to threaten, to consider force. The Visian delegate stood, her scales dark with anger. If humanity will not join galactic civilization, then they should not benefit from it. I propose an embargo. No trade with human worlds. No sharing of any technology. No communication. Let them see what isolation truly means. The proposal gained support quickly. Fear and wounded pride drove many delegates to vote yes. The embargo passed by a significant majority. The Council would treat human space as if it did not exist. General Yu received the news of the embargo with a grim smile. Perfect. They think they are punishing us, but they are giving us exactly what we want. Time and space to grow. The embargo will not hurt us, Director Hana confirmed. We are already completely self-sufficient. If anything, it removes the temptation for some of our colonies to trade against government policy. On New Busan, Commander Hyun watched Council ships retreat from the borders of human space. Captain Day reported their sensor readings. All Council vessels are withdrawing. The embargo appears to be total. Good, Commander Hyun said. Now we can expand without them watching our every move. But the Council was still watching. They could not help themselves. And what they saw alarmed them more each day. Human technology was not just advancing. It was advancing at a geometric rate. Somehow, without any direct contact, humans were analyzing Council technology from a distance and improving upon it. The Ragthul Dominion decided to test human capabilities. They dispatched a stealth fleet to observe human military exercises. The ships were equipped with the best cloaking technology in the galaxy. They should have been undetectable. Captain Day detected them within seconds of their arrival. Sir, we have 12 bogies entering Sector 773. Cloaked vessels, Ragthul signatures. Commander Hyun considered her options. She could destroy the fleet. Human weapons could punch through their stealth technology easily. But that would start a war. Instead, she chose humiliation. Within minutes, humanity broadcast the exact position of every Ragthul ship to the entire Council. The transmission was public, sent on channels every civilization monitored. We are aware. We are watching. We know who sent them. The Ragthul fleet, their secret mission exposed to the entire galaxy, had no choice but to withdraw in disgrace. The Ragthul Dominion's representatives sat in shame during the next council session, as delegates whispered and pointed. But more concerning than the humiliation was the implication. Human sensors could detect the galaxy's best stealth technology. Human intelligence could identify the vessel's origin immediately. The technological gap was closing faster than anyone had predicted. A council intelligence analyst made a presentation that sent chills through the assembly. He showed a graph with 2 lines. One represented typical technological development for a newly FTL-capable species. It rose slowly and steadily. The other line represented humanity. It shot upward at an exponential angle. At current rates, the analyst said, humanity will achieve technological parity with the Council within 5 years. In 10 years, they may exceed our capabilities in several key areas. How is this possible? A delegate demanded. We are not certain. They appear to be reverse engineering principles from our technology without direct access to it. They observe our ships, analyze our transmissions, and somehow deduce the underlying science. Then they improve upon it. Their innovation rate is unprecedented. The implications hung heavy in the air. The species they had dismissed as primitive a year ago would soon become the more advanced civilization. The roles would reverse, and humanity would remember how the Council had treated them during this time. 5 years had passed since humanity's first contact refusal. The Galactic Council had grown accustomed to human isolation, though they never stopped watching. What they saw both impressed and frightened them. Humanity now controlled 89 star systems, each one fortified and productive. The Council's embargo had failed completely. Humans needed nothing from the galaxy. In the Grand Assembly Hall, younger species now spoke openly about admiring humanity's independence. The newer Council members had not been present for the initial rejection and saw humanity differently than the older delegates. To them, humans represented a refreshing alternative to the Council's endless bureaucracy, but the older members remained troubled. Admiral Minji, who commanded humanity's new deep space fleet, regularly conducted military exercises at the edge of human space. Her fleet's capabilities exceeded Council projections. Her tactics were aggressive and unpredictable, and she was only 32 years old, representing a new generation of humans who had grown up knowing nothing but expansion and strength. On Earth, diplomat June prepared for a job that did not yet exist. He was humanity's first officially trained ambassador to galactic civilization, studying alien cultures and protocols, despite having no one to meet with. His office in Geneva remained empty except for him and his small staff. But he prepared anyway, believing that someday, contact would happen. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Huan, a quantum physicist working on a research station orbiting New Busan, achieved something the galaxy had deemed impossible. His team had developed instantaneous quantum communication across any distance. Messages that once took days or weeks to cross space now arrived immediately. General Yu reviewed the technology demonstration with barely contained excitement. Do you understand what this means? Communication superiority. We can coordinate our entire civilization in real time while the Council still relies on FTL message drones. We need to deploy this immediately, Director Hana urged. Every human world, every ship, every station needs this system. Already in progress, Dr. Huan reported. We can have the network operational within 6 months. The Council's intelligence division detected the new human communication system within weeks. The implications were clear and terrifying. Humanity had just achieved a technological breakthrough that gave them a significant military and economic advantage. The balance of power was shifting faster than anyone had predicted. Then something unexpected happened. A human merchant vessel, the Daejeon Venture, entered neutral space between human and Council territory. The ship's captain, Sunho, was a traitor who had argued for years that humanity's isolation was too extreme. Now, with humanity's position strong and secure, he decided to test the waters. His message was simple and broadcast to all nearby Council vessels. We will trade. Not technology. Not territory. Information, art, culture, goods. Equal exchange. No obligations. The message reached Viridian Prime and caused immediate debate. Some delegates saw it as an opportunity. Others suspected a trap. After 3 days of argument, the Council decided to send trade representatives. They had nothing to lose by talking. The meeting took place on a neutral space station hastily constructed for the purpose. Captain Sunho arrived with samples of human agricultural products, entertainment media, and art. The Council delegation brought alien literature, music, and cultural artifacts. Both sides were cautious, professional, and notably armed guards watched from both delegations. Diplomat June attended as humanity's official observer. He sat quietly taking notes, studying the alien delegates' mannerisms and customs. When a Vissian trader asked him why humanity had refused contact for so long, June answered carefully. Imagine if you met someone vastly stronger than you, who insisted they only wanted to be friends. Would you trust them immediately? Or would you wait until you were strong enough that friendship meant partnership, not dependency? The Vissian trader considered this for a long moment. I think I would be cautious. So are we, June replied. We are not your enemies. We simply needed time to ensure that when we finally sat down together, we would sit as equals. The trade meeting concluded successfully. Humans exchanged agricultural seeds for alien poetry, human music for alien historical records. Small trades, nothing strategic, but it marked the first peaceful interaction between humanity and the galaxy. The Council felt encouraged. Perhaps the humans were finally ready to engage. Perhaps the ice was thawing. Then the Ragthul Dominion shattered that hope. Frustrated by 5 years of human arrogance, a faction within the Ragthul military launched an unauthorized attack on a human mining outpost in the frontier. They sent a battle group of 20 warships expecting to find a small, lightly defended facility. They wanted to teach humanity a lesson about respecting Council authority. They were catastrophically wrong. The mining outpost on Hwasong Station detected the Ragthul fleet while they were still 2 light hours away. Automated defense systems activated immediately. The station's AI calculated optimal firing solutions and began preparing. By the time the Ragthul ships arrived, they were flying into a carefully prepared trap. The battle lasted 14 minutes. Hwasong Station's defense platforms opened fire with weapons the Ragthul had never seen before. Particle beams sliced through shields as if they were paper. Missile systems launched thousands of micro-warheads that swarmed Ragthul ships, overwhelming their point defense. Railguns firing at relativistic speeds punched through armor like it was tissue. Half the Ragthul fleet died in the first 3 minutes. The survivors attempted to retreat, but found their FTL systems jammed by human electronic warfare. They were trapped, unable to run, unable to fight effectively. One by one, the Ragthul ships were disabled or destroyed. The station's small garrison of human soldiers never fired a shot. The automated systems had won the battle without human intervention. When Admiral Minji's fleet arrived 20 minutes later, they found only debris and disabled Ragthul ships. The Admiral looked at the carnage in disbelief. "The automated systems did all this?" "Yes, sir," the station commander reported. The AI calculated that human intervention was unnecessary. Admiral Minji had the survivors rescued and treated for injuries, then had them returned to Ragthul space along with a message. Within hours, footage of the battle was broadcast across the entire galaxy. Every civilization watched in shock as human defensive systems decimated a Ragthul battle group with effortless precision. President Ara, who had replaced President Yoon 2 years earlier, made a public statement. Her message was clear and cold. "We are not your enemies, but we are not your victims. The Ragthul Dominion attacked our civilians without provocation. We defended them. We will always defend ourselves. This is your final warning to all galactic civilizations. Leave us alone." The council convened an emergency session. The Ragthul delegates sat in humiliated silence as other representatives demanded explanations. The attack had been unauthorized, a rogue military action, but the damage was done. Humanity had demonstrated overwhelming military superiority. They destroyed a Ragthul battle group with automated defenses, one delegate said in shock. What could they do if they deployed their actual military? "We need to contain them," another delegate argued. "Before they become unstoppable, contain them," Ambassador Thelgzar replied wearily. "They control 89 systems. Their technology exceeds ours in several key areas. Their military can defeat our best warriors without human soldiers firing a shot. We cannot contain them. That opportunity passed 5 years ago when we chose embargo over understanding." Kreloth stood, his aged form showing the weight of years. "We must accept reality. Humanity is now a major galactic power. They achieved in 5 years what takes other species centuries, and we have spent those 5 years treating them like wayward children instead of potential equals." The debate raged for hours, but no consensus emerged. Some delegates wanted to make peace. Others wanted to prepare for war. Most simply did not know what to do about a species that had rejected everything the Council represented, then the long-range sensors detected, something that made all Council debates meaningless. A massive contact appeared at the galaxy's edge. Not one ship, but thousands. The signature matched nothing in Council databases, but it corresponded to ancient warnings passed down through millennia. The Devourers had returned. The Council's military command center erupted in panic. General Talvor, the Council's supreme military commander, reviewed the sensor data with growing horror. "How many ships?" "At least 10,000, sir. Possibly more. They are still emerging from deep space." "What are the Devourers?" a younger officer asked. Talvor's face went pale. "Ancient machines that sweep the galaxy every 50,000 years, destroying civilizations and consuming resources. The last time they appeared, only 12 species survived. Most of the Council's founding members were nearly wiped out. We have stories about them, warnings, but we never thought we would face them again." The officer looked at the force projection. "Can we defeat them?" Talvor did not answer immediately. He ran the simulations 3 times, hoping for different results. Finally, he spoke. "Current projections give us a 23% chance of survival. We will lose billions. Most Council species will be devastated. Some may go extinct." Supreme Mediator Kreloth's small shuttle entered Earth's solar system 3 days after leaving Viridian Prime. He traveled alone, his diplomatic vessel tiny and unarmed. Human defense platforms tracked his approach from the moment he crossed the boundary of the Sol system, but they did not fire. They simply watched. Kreloth transmitted a simple message on all frequencies. "My name is Kreloth. I am Supreme Mediator of the Galactic Council. I come alone and unarmed to speak with humanity's leaders. I ask for nothing except the chance to talk. The galaxy faces extinction. We need your help." The response came quickly. "Land at Geneva Spaceport. You will be met." President Ara waited at the spaceport, surrounded by security but making no threatening moves. She watched the alien shuttle land with mixed feelings. 5 years ago, she had been part of the committee that decided on isolation. Now circumstances forced a different choice. Kreloth descended from his ship slowly. He was old now, his body showing the weight of years and stress. But his eyes were clear and honest. He approached President Ara and, following human custom he had studied, extended his hand. She shook it. "Thank you for seeing me," Kreloth said. "I know we have not earned the right to ask for favors." "Come inside," President Ara replied. "We have much to discuss." They sat in a conference room overlooking the city. General Yu, Admiral Bo, and other members of humanity's leadership joined them. Kreloth did not waste time with pleasantries. He activated a holographic display showing the Devourer fleet. They are called the Devourers, ancient machines that sweep through the galaxy every 50,000 years, consuming resources and destroying civilizations. 10,000 warships, each one massive and powerful. They will reach Council space within 6 months. Our projections show a 23% chance of survival. Billions will die. Some species will go extinct. The human leaders studied the display in silence. Finally, General Yu spoke. "Why should we care? You spent 5 years trying to intimidate us into joining your club. You embargoed us. You sent spy ships. One of your member species attacked our civilians. Why should we save you?" Kreloth met his eyes steadily. "Because if we fall, you face them alone within a generation. Because despite our mistakes, we tried to be peaceful. Because the Devourers do not negotiate or show mercy. They simply destroy. And because you, more than any species in the galaxy, understand what it means to face extinction and fight back." President Ara leaned forward. "You said you need our help. What exactly are you asking for?" "Military alliance," Kreloth answered. "Your ships, your weapons, your tactics combined with our numbers and resources. Together we might survive. Alone we both die. And after?" Admiral Bo asked. "Assuming we survive, what happens then? Do you expect us to become grateful members of your council?" "No," Kreloth said firmly. "We offer formal recognition of human sovereignty. Your independence made permanent in galactic law. Equal partnership, not subordination. You help us survive, and we finally give you what you always wanted, respect as equals." The room fell silent. The human leaders exchanged glances, communicating without words. Finally, President Ara spoke. "We need to discuss this privately. Please wait here." In a secure room away from the alien, humanity's leadership debated. General Yu argued for continued isolation. "Let them fight their own battles. We can fortify Sol System and wait it out," Professor Isul countered. "If the Council falls, we face the Devourers alone in 20 or 30 years. Better to fight now with allies than later alone. This is our chance to prove we can stand as equals." Admiral Bo was pragmatic. "The military analysis supports helping them. The Devourers are too powerful for us to face alone. We need the Council's fleet size. They need our technology and tactics. It is a fair exchange." After 3 hours of debate, they reached a decision. President Ara returned to meet with Kreloth. "We will help. But we have conditions. We fight together as equal partners, not as subordinates. Command is shared. When this is over, our independence is formally recognized by all council members. You respect our sovereignty and we will respect yours. Are these terms acceptable?" Kreloth felt relief wash over him. "Yes, absolutely yes. Thank you." "Do not thank us yet," President Ara said. "This will be the hardest battle any of our civilizations have faced. Many will die, but if we stand together, we have a chance." The mobilization began immediately. Admiral Minji coordinated with Earth Fleet Command to gather humanity's military forces. 500 warships, every combat-capable vessel humanity possessed prepared for deployment. Engineer Tay worked around the clock to integrate human weapon systems with Council ships. On Viridian Prime, the Council received news of humanity's agreement with cautious hope. Some delegates remained skeptical. Others felt ashamed that it took a crisis to finally treat humanity as equals, but all agreed they had no choice. Without human help, the galaxy would burn. The combined fleet assembled at the galactic rim. 3,000 Council vessels joined with 500 human warships. The integration was difficult. Different languages, different tactical doctrines, different command structures. Admiral Minji and Admiral Bo shared command with Council Fleet Marshal Thelxrun, a Vissian officer known for his strategic brilliance. Captain Day coordinated the intelligence network, combining human sensors with council monitoring systems. The result was unprecedented situational awareness. Dr. Nari worked alongside alien scientists, studying the limited data available about Devourer technology and searching for weaknesses. Diplomat June finally had a purpose. He moved between human and alien commanders, smoothing cultural misunderstandings, translating not just words but intentions. His years of training proved invaluable as he helped forge cooperation between species that barely knew each other. The Devourer fleet emerged from deep space like a dark tide. 10,000 warships, each one ancient and massive, moved with mechanical precision toward Council space. They had no interest in communication. They simply advanced, consuming everything in their path. The combined human Council fleet met them at the Galactic Rim. The battle began. Devourer weapons tore through shields with terrifying efficiency. Their ships absorbed damage that would destroy lesser vessels. But the Alliance fought back with everything they had. Council ships provided massive firepower and numbers. Human tactics provided unpredictability and innovation. Admiral Minji led aggressive strike formations, targeting Devourer command ships with precision strikes. Her tactics, learned from centuries of human warfare, confused the mechanical enemy. They expected predictable formation combat. Instead, humans attacked from unexpected angles, used feints and ambushes, sacrificed damaged ships to create openings. Engineer Tay's weapons proved effective. Humanity had designed them specifically to penetrate heavy armor, and Devourer ships had plenty of armor. Human railguns firing at relativistic speeds punched through defenses. Human electronic warfare disrupted Devourer coordination. Captain Day's intelligence network identified patterns in Devourer behavior. The machines coordinated their fleet through a central command hub. Dr. Nari analyzed the data and confirmed the theory. Destroy the hub and the entire fleet would lose coordination. But the hub sat deep within the Devourer formation, protected by thousands of warships. Reaching it would require a suicide mission. Admiral Minji volunteered immediately. I will lead the strike. We need 50 ships willing to push through to the center. She had no shortage of volunteers. 25 human ships and 25 council vessels formed the strike force. Admiral Bo tried to stop her. You are too valuable to lose on a suicide mission. That is exactly why I must lead it, Admiral Minji replied. The crews need to know their commander will not ask them to do anything she would not do herself. President Era gave her approval, though it pained her. Good luck, Admiral. The strike force plunged into the Devourer formation. They fought through waves of enemy ships, taking horrific casualties. Ships exploded around them. Friends died. But they pushed forward, driven by determination and desperation. Admiral Minji's flagship, the Soul's Pride, led the way. Her tactical officer called out warnings as they took damage. Shields at 30%. Hull breaches on decks 4 and 7. Port engine failing. They reached the command hub, a massive structure protected by its own shields. The surviving ships concentrated all their fire on one point. The shields flickered, weakened, finally collapsed. Human and alien weapons tore into the hub's structure. Then Admiral Minji gave her final order. All ships ramming speed. Target the core. The remaining vessels, too damaged to retreat anyway, aimed themselves at the hub's center and fired their engines to maximum. One by one, they crashed into the structure, their explosions tearing it apart from within. The Soul's Pride struck last. Admiral Minji sat calmly in her command chair as alarms screamed around her. For humanity. For the galaxy. The flagship plowed into the hub's core, and the resulting explosion destroyed the entire structure. Across the battlefield, Devourer ships suddenly went dark. Their coordinated movements became chaotic. Ships drifted without purpose, unable to receive orders. The remaining human council fleet fell upon them, destroying the confused machines one by one. The battle had lasted 3 days. When it finally ended, debris filled millions of cubic kilometers of space.